Hello friends, fiber workers, cross stitchers, floss tubers, all of the above, and new crafters. Stacy here as always, and today's floss tube for November is going to be a little bit different because I'm going to continue kind of doing a class for beginner cross stitchers. So if you are more advanced, this video may not be very helpful to you. If you are a beginner to cross stitching, then this video might be helpful to you because I'm going to talk about kitting up a new project with cross stitch. So we're going to cover everything that's simple, from already having it in a kit like this with the threads already separated for you, to a kit like this where the threads are not separated for you, and how to kit that up in order to make your floss a working library while you're doing that project like this, with the symbols, the numbers, and the directions as to mixed threads, stuff like that. And then to get a little bit more advanced, we are going to get into things that aren't kits and getting all of your floss together for cross stitch projects that are really just patterns like this, as well as picking out your fabric and how large you need to make your fabric, those calculations, as well as to how to cut your fabric to have enough space for your pattern. Okay, so we're gonna get started with the very easiest of easy, because they practically do it all for you. Okay, as I said, this video is going to be on kitting up a new project. If you would like a video on how to start stitching on a project, you can look at this video that I will tag up here in this top corner for Cross Stitch 101. This is a Dimensions newer kit here, and the newer kits will have your floss already on these nice little cards for you. Of course, every kit will come with everything that you would need except for basically scissors, your hoop, and things like that. So everything that you would need to make this you can see all of the symbols that go with each color. The colors will have the numbers on them, 17977, that goes over here with your color, gray, blue, so you know that this color has this symbol. The easiest way to kit these up, and it's so simple because they already have your fabric the correct size. They already have all of your floss labeled for you. You don't even have to separate them. So the easiest thing to do, and the only thing that you have to do, is whenever you use a piece of this floss, let's say you're using the black, whenever you use a piece of this floss, you can't reattach it back onto these cards. So what I do is I go and I take a hole puncher, and I'll punch a hole in the other side of the card just like that. And that way, whenever I am done using this piece of floss, I can put it up here on this side, and voila, done. That's all you would need to do for a kit like this. Okay, now we're going to move on to a kit that has the floss all in one pack for you. It doesn't separate it for you. As you can see, all of these I am opening from the get-go. I haven't opened these in the past to even look at them. all the floss is together, and what you're going to need to do is look at the floss, kind of separate it according to color, and then determine which color is what they are titling it here. To help you out, if it happens to be a Mill Hill kit like this is a Mill Hill, they do put the numbers that correspond with the numbers for DMC, so that'll help you out. If you have DMC 316 already on a bobbin, then you can go and look at it and reference it so you can figure out which color in here is the 316. If you don't have that, it's okay. You can still figure out what they're calling light purple, light pink, dark mauve, etc. So what I'm going to do right now is separate all the floss into the separate colors. Okay, now that I have all the threads and the floss separated according to the color that it is, then we can look at our list here and figure out which colors they are talking about for this. What I'm going to do is I have this piece of thin cardboard, or you could fold paper up on itself to make it a little thicker. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to make sure that we have separated the same amount of colors here as what is listed. So we have 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 16, 17. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. So we do have the right amount of colors separated. On here, I'm going to punch 17 holes with my hole punch. And I am going to punch one more. If you have a kit that has mixtures of strands from different colors of floss, then you can use these extra holes. After you have mixed it, you don't need to throw it away and mix it again the next time you need that color of thread. You can just put it on that extra hole, and then you already have it ready for the next time you need that thread. So I'm just going to do 2 extra. Also, if you have, like in this one, I'll show you. If you have a lot of thread for one color, like you can see here, both of these are the same color. So if you have a lot of thread that won't fit into one hole, then you might need to have 2 holes for that color. This one, you could see that the symbols were in different colors. I have green over here. I have a red, black. So if you have different colors on your chart, then feel free to write your symbols on your floss card also to be those colors. But since mine are all black, I'm just going to use whatever color I please. Thing is first, I'm going to start, I think, with this, which is the white. White, right there, very easy. Here's the symbol for it. All right, I'm going to put that right here. If you want to, you can write white below it. You don't have to. I'm going to fold it in half. Put that up through the hole. And pull the end back through the loop. There you go. There's our white. So let's say that you did have to mix 2 strands of a white floss with 1 strand of a dark gray floss. And let's say the symbol for that is an A, the letter A. So what you would do then, as you go along, you would write like a V here, like a bracket, and then put the letter A here because that's the symbol for the mixture of the two. And you can even write the number 2 here and 1 here, so you know it's 2 strands of that and 1 strand of that makes A. Does that make sense? I'll go ahead and do it just for, even though we don't really have that. I'll go ahead and do it so that you can see. So let's say that the symbol A means 2 strands of white and 1 strand of dark gray. So now whenever you see the symbol A, you can go and look at your floss card and you see, okay, I need to mix 2 of that with 1 of that, and I'm good. Since that's not actually a thing on this particular pattern, I'm just gonna mark that out for my own personal use. That was just for the video there. Oh, purple. Okay, so now you can see here that we have all of our colors separated. We have them with their appropriate symbols, and we have our key here. Whenever we look at the chart and we see what symbol we are, then we know exactly which color to go for. Same thing for beads. Whenever you have a kit that has a bunch of beads in it, they will tell you on, like for instance, here's the list of beads. They will tell you obviously the symbol that goes with each bead as well as the color. These asterisks mean that those beads are all contained in the same bag in here. See, there's 3 bags of beads. So one bag has the beads that don't have anything beside them. One bag has all the asterisk colors, and the third bag will have all of the ones with the plus beside of them. That way you can tell the difference between the colors of the beads as well. Now that we have kitted up our cross-stitch kits, it's time to move on to patterns where you need to supply your own floss as well as your own beads or anything that the pattern would call for. What I have here, just as a simple example, is from Awesome Pattern Studio, and it's the mandala jellyfish. This is just a pattern, but they give you the list of the colors that it requires, and most of the time you will find the DMC numbers. I always use DMC for my floss, so it will tell you. Yeah, and it says palette DMC right here at the top. So this is the same type of chart. You have your color, you have the symbol that goes along with that color, as well as the number for the DMC. And I always bobbinize mine, or if bobbinize is even a word, I don't know, but you could make a cardboard floss library card type thing for the pattern as well if you want to. The floss come in skeins, and so I always just put the whole skein on a bobbin and do it that way. Oh, and also for this type of thing, because you will use that color for other cross-stitch projects, not just this one, you don't want to put the symbol at the top of the bobbin, you just want to put the number. You can put the symbol if you want to, but just know that if you use that color on another cross stitch project in the future, the symbol will be different. As you can see, I have a couple of bobbins set out, and what I do is I'll put the whole piece of floss around the bobbin. Any piece that I use and cut off, I'll wrap around the opposite way, and that way I have it all right there. You can put them in a box like you have seen on a lot of my videos. You can put them on a ring to where all the ones for the same pattern are together. Here's another box. These are my extras. Okay, so there I have a circle. I have both ends out. What I will do, let me go grab a bobbin. Hold on. All right, here is the bobbin. I'm going to write the number at the top here, 211. I'm going to put this entire loop around my wrist. That way it can be pulled loosely, as you see, and it goes around my wrist so I don't get any knots. Hold it right there, and here we go. You want to pull it loosely. You don't want to pull it tight, because then if it gets wrapped around your wrist, you gotta unknot some things. So pull loosely. The floss companies make a little thing that you can attach your bobbin to and just turn the bobbin. I feel like that's a little bit extreme when you could just hold it. You want to wrap it evenly so that as you use the floss, you don't have a big bulge on one side or the other. Alright, now it's ready for my box, and whenever I use some off of it, I will put the extra around the opposite way, nice and clean. Alright, now on to the part that confuses a lot of people with just the patterns, and that is fabric size, fabric count, and just how large you need to cut your fabric, as well as where you need to start in the center or at the corner, and I'm going to go over all of that right now. Here for fabric examples, I have two different kinds of patterns, this being the jellyfish that I just showed you, and this is a Heaven and Earth Designs, which means that it is full coverage and it is huge. This is actually a mini pattern, so this isn't as large as what a lot of their patterns are, but we're going to calculate both of these and how much fabric you would need and what kind of fabric, etc., etc. With this one, you would want to start in the center because your stitch count is going to be a rectangle around the stitch count here, and instead of starting down here in this corner of the pattern and having no stitches until you get way up here, you'll want to start in the center. That way you can start right away and then just work your way out. Whereas this one, you will probably not want to start in the center since it is so large and it is full coverage. You can start in any corner that you prefer. I've already started this stitch. I'll just show you. I started in this corner up here, and this is what it is. So I started in the corner, I'm working my way down instead of starting in the center of that. Something to keep in mind with fabric for cross stitch is there's two different kinds. There is Aida fabric, and then there is linen, and all the variations of linen. Aida fabric, typically you can get 12 count up to 20 count, maybe 22. $14. Sorry, I should put that up there. 20, etc., etc., etc. Linen is, for the same exact size of the stitches, is going to be just twice that number. So 24 count. It's not often that you find 24 count, maybe 25 count. And then at that point, you can have just one stitch between. 24 count isn't really a thing in linen. Anyway, but anyways, you double these numbers over here to get the same, what it would be equivalent to in linen, or even weave, or all these different variations of what a linen could be. I would say the most popular Aida are these three: 14 count, 16 count, 18 count. Okay, so for the jellyfish, it is telling you on the pattern that these calculations for the centimeters and the inches of stitched area is according to 16 count. But what if you didn't want to do it on 16 count? What if you want to do it on 14 or 18? Jellyfish, what you want to look at is the number of stitches. This is your stitch count dimensions. 99 stitches by 105 stitches. Okay, so now let's say I wanted to put it on 14 count Aida or 28 count linen, same thing. The 14 means that there is 14 stitches in an inch. The 18, there's 18 stitches in an inch, 16 stitches in an inch, etc., etc. Okay, so we're going to take this number, 99 stitches, divided by whatever count of Aida equivalent, 7.07 inches. We'll do the same with this dimension, 105. 105 divided by 14, 7.5 inches. Let's say I wanted to do it on 18 count. Same thing, 99 stitches divided by 18. We're looking at 5.5 inches by 105. 05 divided by 18. 5.83 inches. So this is your stitched area. So you obviously don't want a piece of fabric that is only 5.5 by 6 inches long, because then your stitches will go all the way to the edge of the fabric, and then you have nothing on the outside border of your stitched area, and you have nothing to hold on to, and you have nothing to be able to frame it with. So our fabric size I would add at least 2 inches on a small piece like this, on a small pattern, at least 2 inches on every side. So that means 4 inches in addition on the length and the width, at least. Preferably get 3 inches. So that means 6 more inches on the width and the length. So for this pattern, the jellyfish, on 18 count, I would probably cut my fabric to be 10, because a 10-inch fabric on this side would mean that we have 2 1/4 of an inch on each side of the stitched area. It could be 10 again, but let's go with 11. So 11 inches would give us about 2 1/2 inches on each side of the stitched area from top to bottom. Heaven and Earth design. This one is giving you the dimensions in inches of what it would be like on 25 count fabric. But what if I didn't want to do it on 25 count fabric? What if I wanted to do it on 22 count fabric or 20 count fabric? So they always give you the stitched size, which is 237 stitches by 319. To do the same exact thing as I did up here, I'm going to take this number and divide it by this number, and that will tell me how many inches it's going to be. I'm going to speed that up so you don't have to watch it all. The size that the stitched area would be on this Heaven and Earth designs here. Let's say I wanted to do it on 20 count. The fabric size on something that is larger and full coverage, you would want to have at least 3 inches on every side, preferably 4. Do maybe an 18 inch by, let's see here, let's say 22. So 18-inch fabric would give us about 3 inches extra over here, 3 inches extra over here, and a 22 lengthwise would give us about, see here, 16, 6, oh yeah, about 3 inches up here, a little more than 3 inches down here. Just to give you an idea about the jellyfish, even though it's not full coverage and it's not a complete rectangle, your stitched fabric here, if we did 10 inches on this stitched amount, then you would have, let's see here, 2 1/4 on this, and that's on this side. So a 2 1/4 inch on each side there, and 11, about 2 1/2 inches, a little more than 2 1/2 inches. on each side there. And this one you will start in the middle. This one you will start in a corner. So I hope that this video helped you out on how to pick your fabric, how big to make it, how to organize your floss, and get started on a new cross stitch project. Next year, 2021, I've already decided that I need to finish some things. I'm going to try my best, even though it's so hard, not to start a brand new cross stitch project, because I probably have over 20 works in progress that I just need to finish. And of course I will do Mania if I can next year. Anyway, I hope that you enjoyed this little tutorial class, tips, help on kitting up a cross stitch. Year will be over soon. I don't think it's going to change anything on January 1st, but the thought of 2020 being gone and having a fresh start will have some sort of renewal in people. All right, thank you so much. Thanks for watching. Bye.